Hello and welcome to the BVB update for July 20th. I'm Stefan Butzko, and in this format I cover Borussia Dortmund news and other shenanigans of the day. And today I'm starting with a Luis Suárez rumor. Yes, at around 5:13 a.m. Eastern time, it was reported by Sky Sport News that Luis Suárez has been offered to Dortmund by his agent in order to compensate for Sebastian Haller. And about 3 hours later, Sport 1 followed this report up, confirming that there was a loose exchange between BVB and his agent. However, a transfer does not seem realistic. The player's wage demands are too high, and he's not an ideal Haller replacement in Dortmund's eyes. And obviously, furthermore, there's no diagnosis for Sebastian Haller's tumor yet, so nobody actually knows how long he will be out for. So any rumor that pops up now can almost be disregarded because we simply don't know what Borussia Dortmund have to do in order to compensate him. Say Haller's out till Christmas, then I'm sure they will have to sign someone. But if he's out for, I don't know, 2 months, then the situation will probably look different. But nevertheless, there was a story by ESPN on July 11th about Suárez, because right now the 35-year-old is a free agent. He is no longer playing for Atletico Madrid, and I think his main goal, it says here, is to be in the best possible shape for the World Cup in Qatar for November. So maybe there could be a half-year agreement or something. I don't know what is realistic and what not, but I wouldn't entirely rule it out. And having Luis Suárez at the Westfalenstadion surely would boost the entertainment factor. But yeah, let's move on to some more palpable news, and that is that Emre Can is back on the training pitch, training fully. Apparently he's training 100% with the team without any limitations. And also Reyna has drastically increased his training regimen with the team, but he's still playing without going into tackles. So don't expect him to be a starter at the beginning of the season just yet, but he's making progress. That is very good news. And before I move on to the quotes of Niklas, Süle and Nico Schlotterbeck, who gave press conferences today, a funny little story, because I think FIFA 23, who had their reveal trailer drop today, with that revealed Borussia Dortmund's Champions League / Cup kit. And yeah, you can see in the trailer the Champions League logo in the background, but you can also see the Evonik sponsor, which is a very good indicator that this is the Cup kit, because Evonik is still the kit sponsor for the international tournaments. And yeah, I think it looks fairly decent. You have these two white elements, which I think are pretty cool. And yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about the neon kit last season, but I thought it was atrocious. So anything in my mind is probably going to be a big improvement. But yeah, let's move on to what Nico Schlotterbeck had to say today, and there were actually a very decent amount of quotes. And he obviously started the press conference by giving his best wishes to Sebastian Haller. And then the news conference was moving on to the level of intensity in the preseason and how that compares to Freiburg. And he said that he could feel his legs just standing there. And then he said, quote, "The intensity is extremely high in preseason, but I didn't anticipate it being that high. The level of training is very advanced because we almost exclusively have national team players." And yeah, then he was also asked about the high level of competition he has to deal with on his own position. And he said, quote, "There's competition at every club, and obviously I want to be a starter. However, my main objective currently is to remain healthy throughout the season. We'll play 9 consecutive games in a 3-day rhythm soon, and nobody will be able to play every game this season." And about his own fitness levels, he then said, "Because the last season was so long, we only had a 3-week vacation instead of 6, so you don't lose a lot of fitness. We're obviously lagging behind the guys who started the preseason before the national team players, but the difference isn't that big." And yeah, he was also asked what I found interesting, whether he prefers the back 3 or back 4. And there he said, quote, "I don't have a preference when it comes to playing in the back 4 or back 3. In Freiburg, we played both. In Berlin, I exclusively played in the back 3. I like taking responsibility. I like to dribble the ball forward and have a forward defending approach. I'm always trying to stay true to my playing style regardless of the system." And then of course he was asked to compare Terzic to Christian Streich, but he wouldn't really talk about that. Instead, he said, Edin Terzic makes a good impression. We're having fun in training and we're confident that we can have a lot of success with him. And then he also talked about his desire to lift silverware with the Black and Yellows, where he said, quote, "My desire to win silverware is huge. Losing the German Cup final last season hurt. All of Freiburg was so euphoric. We're trying to recreate that in Dortmund this season. The euphoria here with the new signings, with the new coach is already very big. It's already something special to see. So many fans here at the public training sessions. We obviously want to make them happy." And then the reporter noted that he's beefed up quite significantly over the past 2 years. And yeah, he said then, "Adding muscles is certainly a reason of my positive development throughout the last 2 seasons. I've added mass to the extent that it's no longer painful to go into tackles, but rather that I can inflict pain on the strikers. My goal is to become even more athletic and dynamic at Dortmund." And then lastly, he was asked what the key in his view is to reduce the amount of goals that Dortmund are conceding. And there he said, quote, "Dortmund is a team that has a lot of possession. Teams like that can grow impatient if they don't have the ball for 2 or 3 minutes and then lose their compactness. As a center back, I don't mind if we're without the ball for 4 or 5 minutes, but keep our compactness and keep pressure on the ball. With our pacey strikers and wingers, we can also play on the counter attack." And yeah, let's switch over to Niklas Süle then, who also had a couple of quotes. And first of all, an inquisitive journalist wanted to know why he's training with long sleeves in the heat. And then he said, "I've this tick that I must play in a short sleeve shirt during games, no matter how cold it is. And that I have also to train in a long shirt sleeve, no matter how hot it is." And yeah, then on a more serious note, he was asked about the leadership role that he will assume. And he said, "It's hard to believe, but I'm already 27. That means that I will assume a lot of responsibility here. That includes things like talking to the media when things aren't going well. I think those are the things that are expected of me here." And then about his partnership with Nico Schlotterbeck, he said, "Nico Schlotterbeck is a top player and we've already had some time to gel at the national team. The fact that we like each other on a personal level makes it easier. I'm happy that he signed for Dortmund. We want to make sure that BVB has more stability in the middle of the park." And then he was asked whether he joined Dortmund with the intention to win the Bundesliga. And there he said, "We have high ambitions this year. We want to leave our mark in all 3 competitions. I didn't come to Dortmund thinking that we couldn't win the championship. We have a lot of quality here and we'll do everything on the pitch to reach that goal." And in that vein, then the next question, which I think is quite obviously if Dortmund are ready for the start of the season, because things right now are still looking very rusty. And there he said, quote, "Every team that went through such a rebuild as Dortmund did will need time to grow together, but we are laying a good foundation. Everyone is working extremely hard. I'm confident that we'll be able to play good football together, but obviously you don't win any games by talking. Nevertheless, Edin Terzic's philosophy fits us. The footballing quality is extremely high and the dynamic in the group is very positive. Even with a very short preseason, I think we can grow together quite well and hopefully show it already in the game against 1860 Munich." So yeah, there you have it. I think both Nico Schlotterbeck and Niklas Süle are going to be very exciting. And of course, one thing is nice to, have them talk about their situation at Borussia Dortmund. But I personally am looking forward even more to seeing them together on the pitch. We haven't done that during the friendly against Valencia. So I hope on Friday against Villarreal, we will see those two next to each other. I hope Edin Terzic can make that possible. But yeah, sooner or later, I think that will be the case. And obviously, I also want to see how, for example, Charlie Özcan will then play ahead of them together with Jude Bellingham. I think there's going to be a very strong axis in Dortmund's midfield and defense. So yeah, this is something I personally am excited about. But yeah, also, I really want to know how the striker situation is going to pan out. So let me know whether you would like to see Luis Suárez in a Dortmund shirt or whether you hate that idea. Anyway, that is everything from me for today. Thank you for watching as always. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.